Today I attempt to hike to the remaining 2 fishing villages of Cinque Terre. In the process I would accidentally go down an abandoned path, discovering a special piece of Cinque Terre's history. Hi, I'm Viggo, an 18-year-old adventurer. 9 days ago I landed in Barcelona, Spain. The only thing I planned was a return ticket from Naples, Italy 2 weeks later, and an interrail ticket allowing me free train travel in the region. You now join me on day 10 of my trip, with only 5 days left to explore Italy till I have to catch my flight out of Naples. So far I've been enjoying my time in Barcelona, dipped my toes in the sea at the border town between Spain and France, visited the stunning medieval castle of Carcassonne, the old papal city of Avignon, and dealt with a ton of burnout. I swam in the sea in Nice, where I almost lost my phone to the waves. I went on a day trip through the micro country of Monaco, and yesterday over breakfast at my hostel here in Italy I started talking to an American and an Australian, where we very spontaneously decided to go on a hike together between the iconic 5 Italian fishing villages of Cinque Terre in the worst possible weather you could imagine. Last night we made it to the 3rd village on the coast, where the boys got on a train back to Genoa, while I booked myself the cheapest accommodation I could find, which was only a third of the price it would have been in the summer though. Everything in my backpack was completely soaked, including my 15-day interrail train ticket, my passport, my clothes, and my laptop and other electronics. It was all just physical, replaceable stuff though, and it was all actually worth it, as we had the time of our lives and an unforgettable and irreplaceable adventure that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Today I planned on hiking to the remaining 4th and 5th villages of Cinque Terre, and this is the 4th village. Good morning. I've went through all my stuff now. I think my passport is always gonna stay like this now. But yeah, a lot of the stuff seems like kind of a little bit wet, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. My bag is completely dry, so at least I'll have somewhere to put all my stuff in. But like, this view from this room is amazing. I'm just gonna show you. Freaking look at that. That's so amazing. And like, look at that town down there. That's amazing. I packed everything, dry or wet, into my backpack and checked out of my room just 4 minutes before I would get kicked out at 10:30 with my morning coffee in hand. Fun fact, I never saw or spoke to anyone at the reception. I was just told where my room would be, and the key was just left in the door when we arrived. But how incredible is it that I just lived in this unique old Italian fishing village on a tiny street like this with an incredible view of the 4th village. I only had to walk for about half a minute before I found a balcony with a sea view, where I could set up my laptop and transfer some of all the footage I'd recorded over the past few days. If this doesn't look like some digital nomad stuff, then I don't know what does. While I stood on the balcony, I saw some of the most mesmerizing waves crashing into the cliffs beneath me. Yeah, so it's about 11 o'clock now, and I'm in the 3rd town out of these 5 towns. And I think I want to continue to the 4th town over here, and then the 5th maybe. But I'm quite sure that you can't just follow the coastline down here. I'm pretty sure you have to go like very high up in the mountains to get over there. So yeah, it seems so close, but yeah, it's probably gonna take at least 2 hours. We'll see. As the crow flies, there's about 2 kilometers between the 2 villages. If the trail leads me down along the coast, this could be a walk in the park, and I would be in the next village in no time. If not, I would have to hike all the way up the mountain and then hike along the side of the mountain a few hundred meters above the sea. The weather is so great right now though, and the weather forecast has changed a lot, so it's not supposed to actually rain today, which is so nice. Still haven't had anything to eat today though, and I didn't get dinner yesterday, so I went into a small local cafe. I like this sign: don't be depresso, drink an espresso. That's very good. 4 euros for 2 of these. I think that's quite cheap for like a touristy area, and they taste delicious. It's like prosciutto, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, and mozzarella, and it's warm. The path that led down to the train station was marked with this symbol, which is the symbol of the trail we had followed all of yesterday, so I was feeling quite optimistic about the trail just following the coastline and not going up into the mountains. There is quite a few stairs on this trail, but I think I might actually be able to just follow the coast. We'll see. Otherwise I'll have to hike up all these stairs again, which I'm really not hoping to do. Wow. Look at that. While walking down all these stairs, I took this photo, which I just want to show you for no apparent reason other than look how incredible and beautiful that looks. Ciao. Oh. Ciao. 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 While walking down to the train station, I kept seeing the trail markers, so unless there should be some kind of landslide or anything stupid like that, I was very optimistic that I would just be able to walk straight over to the other village. Well, there is a marker right there for the trail, but this looks so weird. From the train station, the path took me down to what seemed like a sewer, but still, the trail markers were spurring me on. Wow, this looks absolutely disgusting. This does kinda look like, yeah, kind of abandoned. I don't know. Abandoned or not, it looked like a clear pathway straight over to the other village. So unless something were to like, I don't know, block the path, I would be sipping on a cup of espresso and cooling myself down with a cold gelato in the town of Manarola in less than half an hour. I wonder what the hell this is. Looks so weird, like small little houses, I don't know. From what I can gather from Google Maps, there is actually a location marker for a beach here. Reading the reviews of the beach, it seems that there isn't actually a beach there anymore, but that it used to be a very popular beach location with bars and packed with people sometime back in the previous century. One of the reviews reads as follows: "You walk through 1 kilometer lined with totally trashy old shacks that could only be interpreted as hiding places for drug-addicted homeless people. I literally spotted several rats chasing each other. The access to the beach is then simply closed with a long expired building permission hanging from a fence. Absolute shame for the city." Another one states, "Don't go to this area, very dangerous and not controlled by the police. It can only be visited in a group of friends and not couples or alone, unless you are one of them." A third one says that there used to be a beach here 30 years ago, but that it stopped being maintained. A last comment from a local Italian who used to live on this beach back in the 80s described the fact that there used to be bars on the beach. Perhaps all of these sheds used to be beach bars, beach houses or something like that. The person actually made their most important friendship on that beach. I quote, "With whom I shared everything described together with many laughs. Now she is no longer on this earth, but I'm sure the part of her is still bathing and playing with the waves. Don't treat this beach badly. I love it and it's the guardian of my most beautiful memories." I didn't read all these reviews until after returning home from the trip, but it's really quite sad to think about the beach it used to be when this is the abandoned state the whole area is in now. I came up on a fence which I just went through. Well, I don't even know if I was allowed to go through there, but yeah, this place is so weird. Like, what the hell? A second, more serious fence came up, which was blocking the entire path. Well, don't know if I'm going through here. Apparently, someone was living in a secluded house all the way out here. I could hear a dog barking at least. Yeah, I'm turning around now. It looked like the road had collapsed. I wasn't gonna continue over that fence. Yeah, so apparently this used to be the official path between the two villages, but after a serious landslide back in 2012, which injured 4 Australians, the path was immediately closed down. Since then, there's been an effort to reopen and renovate the path, but so far, nothing has happened. I visited in February 2024, and I found a blog post stating that the path should have reopened in August the same year, but I'm very skeptical of this, considering the conditions the whole place was in February. The trail is not to be found on any map service, and no photos or other articles show any proof of the trail having been reopened. Thank me later, and don't make the same mistake as me. So yeah, I guess I'll go back up all those stairs and then hike up through the mountains. Yeah. Just wished there had been a sign before I went down all those stairs. Yeah, I was gonna go this way, but now I'm gonna need to hike up in the mountains and yeah, somehow end up down in Manarola. Yeah. Wow, it's like a melody. Wow. I guess it's like a mine, I don't know. Yeah, so the sign is in German and means danger, landmines, but it's most likely just a local who doesn't want nosy tourists on their land.
It's actually such a hot day today. It's nothing like yesterday. I had to change into shorts again. Yeah.
I didn't want to go up all those stairs again, so I found a paved road instead, and after about an hour of detour, I was finally back in the village and back to square one.
It's so dumb. I just had to get to there, and I got to that point right there, and I had to turn around.
I basically made it almost halfway to the village.
And now instead, I have to hike up all the way there, and then down the mountain. Yeah, that is quite a challenge.
After filling up my water bottle, I started the ascent and quickly realized that it was all just part of the journey and decided it was time to get in a better mood.
Wow, this is incredible to look at. This is where we came from yesterday. So the first town, I think, is on the other side of that mountain. Maybe not. Maybe that's the town we started at. But then we went up to that little town right there and down this way. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I think there's one more town in between that town and where I am now.
Just like yesterday, I came across a small landslide, but this time it wasn't blocking the path that much. But then I quickly got very out of breath as the ascent was very steep.
This is crazy steep. Wow, I just heard a landslide. You could just hear the rocks over there just collapsing. Look at how remote this area looks though. The vegetation in the mountain and stuff like that. Wow. But this trail is just like this, just endlessly up.
I'd now made it quite high up the mountain, and the view of the fourth village was even more incredible from up here.
Wow. That's incredible. Probably should have brought some snacks with me. I have nothing than a water bottle, so hopefully that'll be enough. I don't know. So according to this sign, I've only gone 300 meters.
I met a fellow hiker who gladly took these pictures of me. Not the best, but passable.
Wow. What is this place?
The path began to feel more and more like hiking in some ancient overgrown ruins. I felt a bit like, I don't know, Indiana Jones or something.
Wow, man. That is where I slept tonight. I were on that balcony like a few hours ago with my laptop. Wow. Look at that. Absolutely amazing.
Taking in these views and thinking about the fact that I was only doing this hike because of a single breakfast conversation and reflecting on the hike with the boys from yesterday fueled some deep emotions within me.
I just realized, to me, this is pure happiness. Like, this is peak happiness. I couldn't be happier. I probably experienced like being as happy as I am right now, but I've never experienced like being happier than this. This is absolutely pure peak happiness.
I know it all sounds cheesy and you might as well think I've gone mad, but when feeling happy, I think it's very often easy to only realize the feeling once it's finally passed, but in this moment I noticed it while it was still present, which really made me cherish it. I wish I could just save these moments forever. I wish I could just tap into them whenever I felt like it, without ever getting used to them or taking them for granted. And in a sense, I think that's the whole reason why I made this YouTube channel, and why I'm documenting my travels into small, fully edited videos that I can always tap right back into. That's why I decided to call the YouTube channel The Flashbacks, cause that's what it will feels like, to be honest. The name itself is inspired by a small creator that I really enjoy watching, who sometimes mentions the concept that he calls living for the flashbacks.
I've got this saying, living for the flashbacks,
which I really resonated with and taken to me.
Wow, you're just walking out in nowhere and then a little tiny village just appears out of nowhere, high up on a mountain. Wow, from here you can see the village where I stayed tonight and the village that I'm going to now. Wow. Imagine being these chickens, like having these views. Life of a chicken seems quite appealing suddenly.
After hiking a long stretch with not much change in elevation, I quickly made it to another small mountain village with a chapel. In the village I also found a map.
This is where I started today. This is where I'm going next, and I think I'm up in that little town right there. Maybe up there, because there's like a church. Yeah. But this is definitely the ascent. I'm gonna be able to feel this in my knees for a few days, I think. What is this? Well, I don't know. Something to do with ships, I guess. But I'm almost there, almost. But the question is just how the heck I get to the next town. I think I'll have to like hike over this mountain. Yeah, probably.
I don't know if you ever wanted to take a selfie with the whole village, but in Cinque Terre that's actually possible.
Ciao. I think it's coffee time and maybe gelato time.
The path led me down this steep staircase, and just like that, I was now in the heart of the village. And gelato time it was. Once again, I went down to the pier. The waves were brutally smashing into each other and into the cliffs. Not too long ago, Cinque Terre used to be 5 fairly unknown fishing villages. I can't even start to comprehend the dangers attached to climbing into a small fishing vessel or rowboat in these extreme waters. At least I hope the sea isn't acting as violent as now the whole year, as it was not exactly difficult capturing these mind-blowing and insanely looking waves on camera. These waves were so mesmerizing, and I could honestly watch them all day. I hope I'm not boring you with them.
The camera is not doing these waves any justice, like it looks way more impressive in real life. I've never seen anything like this.
Like, could you just imagine for a second stepping into a boat in these waters? Absolute mental that is. This tunnel actually leads to the village train station, but I still wanted to hike to the 5th and final village before getting on a train to the city of Pisa, most known for the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Fun fact, I think there's actually a path leading to the 5th village through the tunnel, but that I didn't know at the time, so I began my hike over the mountain.
Alright, I'm now gonna hike to the last town. According to Google Maps, it should be 35 minutes, and I have a train in just under an hour, so should be doable, I think.
Quick tip, never trust Google Maps, especially while hiking, and especially while hiking in steep terrain.
This is very steep already. It's crazy to look back, like I started today just over there, and it doesn't seem like quite the distance, but I went up this whole mountain and up somewhere here up to this town. Yeah, it's amazing though. Alright, I think I'm already like halfway now, because the last part should be so much easier. But I guess I'll be able to see the other town maybe. Yeah, look at that. So that's the last town. Wow, magical. And that sunset, oh, I'm getting too tired. So the day is almost over. And if you're wondering where I'm going next, I'm going to Pisa, just for one night. And then after that it's gonna be Rome and then Naples, where I'm gonna go to, what's it called? Pompeii, yeah. Wow, this is probably gonna be my last view of all these towns. It's been great. Bye bye now. Wow, yeah, I didn't expect there to be such a huge bridge just in the middle. Yeah, my train leaves from the station down there in just exactly 20 minutes, so I think that should be alright. But what an adventure this has been. Wow. I'm just trying to take it in, like the last part of this. Oh, and I'm traveling home from Naples in 5 days, yeah, this Friday. It's Sunday today.
I feel like this is probably the least scenic village of the 5, but that's probably mostly because of the ugly highway going straight through the valley.
I just remembered that I have to like bring home a stone, because that's like a tradition I have, but I'm like almost there. Maybe I'll just hike a little bit up again. Hopefully I'm not gonna miss my train.
This is actually a tradition that my brother inspired me to start, of bringing home a stone from each mountain or hike I do. Here's a clip from a few months ago while I was hiking up a mountain in the beautiful town of Terre in Switzerland.
Wanna find a special one. Ooh. This looks quite big, but also quite cool because it's like a triangle, like a mountain. Unless I found something else, this is gonna be it. And that is the stone I brought home to Denmark.
Oh, and that day I might have also spent the night in prison. Whoops.
I'm actually going to like prison now. This is like the toughest prison in the whole of Switzerland.
But you can go watch that after you finish this one.
Maybe this one. I know it's pretty muddy and stuff, but yeah, I'm just gonna clean it and that'll do.
And clean it? I did.
Wow, just came from up there. Wow.
I feel like this is the most Italian looking police car you could find. Perfectly small and fit to be driving around the narrow mountain roads.
Look at this. Amazing end to the day. Wow.
I somehow made it onto the road above the train station, but had no idea of how to actually get down to the platform beneath, with the train now leaving in 8 minutes. This was the path that Google Maps recommended to literally go between these 2 points. I think it's safe to say that Google Maps isn't always optimized for small remote Italian fishing villages, and I got in quite a hurry and ran through these narrow alleyways like I was acting in a James Bond movie or something. Meanwhile, I ran out of storage on my phone to film on, but luckily I made it to the train station just in time and took these pictures as I was out of storage, including one of how dirty my shoes had become apparently. But then suddenly the train was 10 minutes late, which meant I had time to clear some storage off my phone, but also that I didn't actually need to be in such a hurry. Eventually the train arrived, and I was now sadly leaving Cinque Terre after one heck of an adventure though. But I was also feeling quite proud that I'd made it between all 5 villages just on foot. And with that, I got on the train. 10 minutes later, I arrived in La Spezia, where I wasn't quite finished with transferring files to my laptop when I got off the train.
Right, I made it to La Spezia, and now I have 12 minutes to find some food before I get on the next train.
I just about managed to find some food and got on a train going south along the coast and down through the country. I was absolutely starving, so as I started to eat my sandwich, I began to reflect on the incredible adventure I just had while enjoying the view of La Spezia passing by outside the window. The sunset was beautiful, and after just an hour, the train was rolling over the Arno River that divides the city of Pisa.
I made it to Pisa, and I'm not too far away from my hostel. I'd just like to check in.
Yeah. The check-in online?
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask me your name?
Viggo.
How do you spell it?
V-I-G-G-O. GGO.
I went up the stairs cause elevators is for losers, right? I mean, yeah, I went into my room, but I'd forgotten one thing.
I almost forgot, but is it possible to do some laundry?
Yeah, of course. You just need to go there.
Yeah.
You don't need to accept coins.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
If you have just cash, there's the.
I don't have cash, yeah.
We don't have cash here.
Okay, is there like an ATM somewhere?
Yeah, you need to go like to the station and right,
Okay, yeah.
and you will find there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I just arrived from the train station, but I already had to do the 15-minute walk back and forth again. After 2 long days of hiking, this wasn't the best news in the world, but it was worth it, cause
I'm finally gonna be able to do some laundry now.
I made it to the ATM at the train station, which probably overcharged me a heavy sum in transaction and conversion fee, but I didn't really care too much at this point. I cashed out a 20€ note and headed back to the hostel. 8 minutes later, I was back and ready to finally do my laundry, but if you recall,
You don't need to accept coins.
at the hostel they had a machine which could break up a 5 or 10€ note into coins, but unfortunately not my 20€ note. Therefore I had to head out into the rain again to find a nearby shop where I could buy something to break up my note. Almost all the way back at the train station again for a third time, I found a small mini supermarket. I finally had some coins plus some snacks. Back at the hostel I was finally able to throw all my clothes into the washer.
I don't know if I should have selected B or C, but it's running now.
While the washer was running, I finally got a real meal at the hostel before transferring all my clothes into the dryer to be clean and warm in just a moment.
Alright, yeah, that seems right.
I got myself a hot chocolate while watching some YouTube before going to bed for the night. Tomorrow I planned on exploring the city and the Leaning Tower before heading to Rome and then to a new country already in the evening. Oh, you can by the way go watch that video from Switzerland now where I spent the night in jail. Whoops. It's a good watch though. Finally done.